Alright guys, it's Nick here, and today I'm with my lovely partner Jade.
Hi!
Who has been wanting to get involved in my videos for a long time, and we've now finally bitten the bullet, so you're going to see her face a lot more often than mine, and it's a lot prettier than mine anyway, so you'd be best off looking at her rather than me. So today we're just basically we're just testing the water, getting Jade used to doing some videos on YouTube. And we thought, right, let's just talk about something that we both like, and just do her first video.
Not like, love.
So today we're going to do a video on our favourite Jim Carrey movies.
Yay.
Now, we own a lot of them. Our house is full of Jim Carrey posters, and
yep.
as much as we both love horror and shit, we're big Jim Carrey fans. We love him. We kind of met because we love him. So
yeah,
we're doing a Jim Carrey video today. Now, I've gone around the collection and grabbed out as many as I could see off the top of my head. I'm probably missing a few, so some of them we're just going to talk about.
Yeah, some of them we don't actually have as well, but we're going to throw them in there because they're obviously quite important.
We don't own Dumb and Dumber 2.
Yeah.
This is crap.
Yeah, it's not really worth mentioning.
Yeah, so let's just go through the pile we've got here and just basically talk about it as one of our favourites, one of our worst, and just shit like that really. So yeah, just grab one, babe.
Okay, so starting at the bottom of the pile, this is something that we do agree on, don't we? A lot of people will probably disagree, but right at the bottom we're going with Me, Myself and Irene.
Absolute crap. I worked for
the cover looks really good. Look how good he looks on it.
I worked for the pictures when it came out, and people were going crazy for it. And I was a big Jim Carrey fan, and I've got to say, I hated it. I absolutely hated it.
I didn't hate it, but I found that other people I knew found it more funnier than what I did. And as far as characterisation goes, he does do a really good job of portraying those two sides. But then again, it's Jim Carrey. He can do that, can't he? But I know what you mean. I felt the same. I was not really that bothered about the story. It was just didn't have the same feeling.
It's got the Zellweger beast in it as well. I hated Zellweger back then, with her cry face and stuff.
With a cry face.
So,
she looks even more cry now, doesn't she?
She's kind of normal now. She's got a new face.
Oh
but
no!
Back then I just didn't like. But then I like Empire Records.
There is all the good bits with his sons though, that are all black.
Yeah, I tried to rewatch it recently.
It is definitely at the bottom.
And I don't see what the fuss is about. I like the Farrelly brothers, but don't know what the fuss is about. Right,
this one is a really, really frustrating one. I can't remember how you totally feel about it.
I didn't like it when it came out. No, I liked it when it came out. Then I watched it again and I didn't like it. Then about a year ago, I kept saying to you I was going to rewatch it. And you're don't shit.
I know.
And I rewatched it and I did actually think it was quite crap.
Yeah.
But it's got its moments, and I do like.
I might have to do it again to try and work out if there was something about it that I didn't get. But I am usually good at getting things in films, and I felt like it didn't know what it was doing. But I could be wrong. But we're talking about it. We've not even shown what it is. It's this one.
I like the idea.
Number 23.
I like the idea that it was a Jim Carrey horror.
But that's the problem. That's what we were so excited about. That's what I was excited about. So then when I saw it, I was like, this is not what I wanted.
Wasn't it from I'm trying to remember who directed it, but I'm sure it was the director. Oh, it was directed by Joel Schumacher. So I like Joel Schumacher. Joel Schumacher.
To be honest, I didn't even know that.
Worked with Jim Carrey in the past in one of Jim Carrey's even better films, but I'll get into that later on. And anyone that knows me on YouTube knows what film I'm talking about. You guys know. You know!
I mean, I love films that are all jumbled and messed up and make you think, but this just didn't... It just didn't fit together in the end. It was still just what?
Yeah, it's just a bit... I think it's a bit slow. I don't mind the weirdness of it. I just thought it was just a bit slow.
I just think when the trailers came out, when it was being announced and stuff, because we really like horror films, I think it was Jim Carrey, horror film, oh my god, can't wait, so excited. And it just didn't bring it.
I do like the cover art though. I would actually have that poster up. But then, what was that one that you watched that I haven't seen yet? That thriller one he did where he was playing a Russian, Dark Crimes or something like
that was very recently though, wasn't it? This was him getting really serious as he's going through his all woken stage. Yeah, but was it Polish? It was Polish.
Was it Russian, wasn't it?
Even Polish or Russian?
Dark Crimes.
Were they speaking in the different language or were they all speaking Russian in English and he would...
You had it on a flight, didn't you?
Yeah.
And I remember looking over your shoulder and there was
it was far too serious, and it wasn't like I didn't believe him either. His acting and it was really believable, but it was just really boring. That's one of them, isn't it? Right, next one. Oh, one everyone will know.
Yeah, I again didn't really like this one.
Saw Maddie.
I've only watched it once, and it was at the Pictures. It was back again when I worked at the Pictures. So yeah, you've probably seen it more than me because you were a bit younger when it came out, so you probably sessioned it a bit on video.
Believe it or not, though, I didn't. Again, this was the point where I was like, I like it, but when it came out and you watched it, you were just like, it was a bit tiring. It was tired by then. Jim Carrey was tired of that kind of thing. We know he can do that. What he does in that film, he's done it before. We've seen it. And that's that.
Like
but I don't hate it.
I don't like those sort of comedies. Yeah, it's nah.
Yeah, it's like Click with Adam Sandler. And
but that was kind of a rip off of that, wasn't it? And there's a sequel to this with Steve Carell in it as well that I've got somewhere over there. I've never watched it.
No, I don't really want to.
Or something, but yeah, someone gave it to me at some point.
No, I'm not too bothered about Evan Almighty.
This should have been good, right? I love Zemeckis. I loved the Polar Express. I thought it was a brilliant film, Polar Express. And even though it looks a bit weird, it was like a really, really good animated film. And this, nah, it wasn't that good.
It was okay.
The performances and the technology is good, but nah, I just didn't. I watched it once, and I don't think I'd ever watch it again.
No, I think I felt the same.
But yeah, no.
I'm just looking at it now, and the animation looked really funny.
Well, the animation, the style was quite good, and it was clever. It was all motion capture, but it was just a bit meh.
I didn't realise it was Disney.
Yeah. Another animated one. Horton, here's a who.
Horton, here's a who.
Horton, here's a who.
Here's a who.
Here's a who.
Here's a who for you.
Here's a Horton. Here's a who, Horton. I love the live action Dr. Seuss movies. We'll talk about Grinch in a minute because obviously that's going to come up in this list. And we're both massive fans of Cat in the Hat. We'll
that's a
but that's a whole new video.
Yeah, that's a totally different video.
I wasn't that keen on this. I only ever watched it when we got together.
Like
you showed this to me. I'd never seen it when it came out. And
But not, to be honest, not from the perspective of a great Jim Carrey film where he's doing a really good voice that's really memorable. It's not the most memorable of films for him, but the film itself is really good.
Yeah,
the Dr. Seuss ones are.
I didn't like Lorax either.
I liked Lorax. Yeah.
Right, this one.
Skipping through these quite quickly. Yeah. This one
is like weird. I saw this at the cinema with my mum, and me and my mum didn't like it when we saw it at the Pictures. I watched it again, and I really like this film now. I don't know. Maybe it's because I saw it with my mum and it was just a bit weird when we went. I don't know. You've always liked it, haven't you?
I've always liked it, and it's one of those ones. It got really bad reviews. And again, it's still similar to like Bruce Almighty and like Yes Man and all that kind of stuff that he did. That was that kind of running theme.
Yes Man
but
carry on.
I didn't think we had it. I thought we were just going to talk about it.
Yeah, we've got it.
But that's good then. But yeah, I know a lot of people don't like Fun with Dick and Jane, and obviously it's a remake.
Here it is.
But yeah, I think it's really good. I loved their chemistry in the film. I think they're really good in it. And I just love the fact that they're going to rob a bank and stuff. I just think it's really funny. But as I say, it didn't get good reviews, did it? People just were like, nope.
I've not seen the original it's based on either.
I've not seen the original. No. I don't feel like I need to now.
But I do enjoy it. I watched it a couple of times. There you go. There's Yes Man.
What's this? Oh. What's this? Oh, this.
Yeah, wrong way around. I read the book
because it's upside down.
When it came out. I was a big fan of Danny Wallace because Dave Gorman was like my hero back in the early 2000s, and Danny Wallace was his flatmate. So when he wrote Yes Man, I read the book and saw the film when it came out, and I really liked it because of it had Murray in it from Flight of the Conchords.
Yeah.
But then I didn't watch it again until we watched it when you were pregnant, so about a year ago.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it.
What was really weird for me is when it first came out, I didn't like it. Yeah. I did not like Yes Man. I don't know why. It didn't sit with me. Just hated it. The only one bit I liked was the guy from Saw watching Saw.
Oh,
it was Jim Carrey watching Saw, and it's got the guy from Saw in it. That was like the only reference that I was like, oh look, a reference. That was all I cared about. But I didn't like it. And then last year when I was pregnant, Nick just decided to just randomly put it on. I was like, right, I'm not bothered. you know, not really too fussed what we're watching at the moment at that uncomfortable stage of pregnancy. And we put it on, and for the first time in a long time, I found myself not going to look at my phone, not looking at my iPad, and actually sat and went all the way through Yes Man without looking at anything. And I found that really bizarre. I was like, how has that taken my interest so much?
Who's interesting? Is it like Rachel Weisz or someone like that?
I can't remember. But I
no,
was...
Zoe Deschanel.
Yeah.
And Bradley Cooper's in it as well, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. But I just didn't like it at first, and then when we watched it last year, I was like, what? How has this came about? Right, as we said before, this isn't really in a proper order, is it? Because I wouldn't put this low down. Is this where you're putting it?
No, I just made a pile.
Just made a pile. Just
so
compiled a pile.
Favourite ones are near the bottom. That's all.
Right. Okay. So yeah.
It's a good sequel. It's a good film, but it's not a patch on the original. And I don't know, but it is funny.
No, I used to struggle deciding which one I preferred, and a lot of the time I used to think When Nature Calls was my favourite one, but then you'll go for ages watching that one and go back to Pet Detective and you'll think, no, Pet
Detective is a better film.
I don't know. There's a lot of moments in both of them. There's a lot of stuff that happens in this one that's really memorable.
It could be that.
What is it? Oh no! Now that is awful. God awful. So yeah, I mean, what more do you say about this? This was, you know, this is in everybody's memories, isn't it? Like,
yeah, that's the reason why we didn't get a mask too.
What? Because of Ace Ventura When Nature
Calls?
Was he doing it? No, I don't think it was.
Yeah,
it probably was around that time. Once he said
no more sequels. And I would have rather had a Mask 2 than that. But then let's talk about a new Ace Ventura in the works. So yeah, you know.
But again, I don't know how I feel about that. I know all the fans, and I am a massive fan, are all like, yeah, we can't wait. But I love him to pieces. I love the stage that he's currently at in his life now. I know people think he's gone a bit weird, but he's all woke and stuff, and I like where he's going. And just, you know, he's older now, and I don't see how he's going to pull Ace off. I don't see it. I mean, he can do anything. I've seen
Dr. Robotnik. I've got faith in
yeah, no, I know. But I'm just like, I don't know. Do we need to go back down that path? I don't know. But yeah, Ace Ventura and Nature Calls.
This is one for you to talk about, really. I've only ever watched it once when I was really poorly, and you put it on.
What a film to put on when you're poorly.
Well, that's what I've never seen.
That'd be quite good, actually.
I was in bed. I was in bed, and you made me soup, and you put that on for me.
I made you soup.
You made me
from
soup
a can.
It was Heinz soup from a can, and I watched that on the projector in the old flat on the wall, and that was the only time I ever saw it, and I liked it, but I don't really remember anything else, so I'll let you take the stage on this one.
Okay, right, so this one, I found this one in a cash converters in about 2003, 2004, and it was just sitting there on the shelf, and I was like, what is this? I have never heard of this. So this is a Jim Carrey film called The Majestic. So I think it was probably around the same time, or roughly around the set. Still got the cash converters price on it. I did not pay £6 for it. I don't think, or maybe I did because I was that taken back. I maybe did. Shall we show people? Look, cash converters, £6. I don't know if I paid that, but it was 2003, 2004. So I found this and I was like, wow, never heard of this. Could have been around the Truman Show stage because it's got that kind of vibe to it, hasn't it? It's a bit Truman Show. 2003. 2002?
By Frank Darabont. 2001. It was directed
2001.
Directed by Frank Darabont.
Early 2000s, anyway.
So it's got some good credentials.
It's basically based in like the 1950s, and in this film, he's a screenwriter, and he goes away. He has this car accident where he bumps his head, and he wakes up, and he's in this completely different town. And in this town, they've lost this hero that's like that was in one of the world wars or something, and they think it's him. And then he lives out this life in this place thinking that he's playing this character, and he falls in love with this woman who he was in love with if he'd have been this person who they think he is. It's really wacky. But a really interesting fact about this film is that Bruce Campbell is actually in this film. So Jim Carrey and Bruce Campbell are technically in a film together, but they don't see each other on screen because he's a writer for films in the 1950s, and Bruce Campbell's like the star of all the 1950s films, and there's footage of him in like a sword fight, and I always found that really interesting.
I don't remember any of that. I have to watch it.
Yeah. Bruce Campbell's in it. So Jim Carrey and Bruce Campbell in the same film. That's quite an interesting fact.
I mean, a few honourable mentions that I know I haven't pulled out of the collection. Once Bitten, which I think is one of his best films.
Oh, yeah.
I've loved it since I was a little kid.
Nick introduced me to Once
Bitten.
And
comedy horrors. We've got somewhere up in the collection, I've got Earth Girls Are Easy, but doesn't
Yeah.
really count, that one.
No, I don't think so either. Just one thing on Girls Are Easy, I don't feel like his performance is the best out of everyone's in it anyway.
Jeff Goldblum or Damon Wayans.
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum is better. That's why I'm just like, no, we can just skip on that.
We haven't got Lemony Snicket out either, but again, I loved the look and style of that film, but I just think it's lacking something.
You don't love it. I don't love it.
But again, we've got it here somewhere, but we've got like 3,500, 4,000 movies in this room. It's quite hard to pick them all out. Right, this one, I worked again at the pictures when it came out. Used to have the poster on my wall. Everybody knows it. He deserved an Oscar for it. You know, he got the Golden Globe, but he don't think he got the Oscar, did he? But yeah, terrific film.
He basically is Andy Kaufman.
Obviously, everyone's seen the documentary that came out a few years back, showing how method he went when he was making it.
Oh yeah, Jim and Andy.
Yeah, but it's
Really
it's one of his best performances. Some people would argue it is his best performance. I personally would put one of the other ones above it, but yeah, I mean,
it's because he's playing another real life person that makes you feel like, but I like some of the original stuff he's done.
Yeah,
because it's a really good performance of being Andy Kaufman, but it's not your favourite performance that Jim Carrey's done.
It's a good film.
It's
an
amazing film.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. Yeah.
I mean, back in 1994, this was one of the funniest things to ever hit the planet. Now, I actually find it quite cringeworthy, but I still love it.
When did you last watch it though? You didn't watch it with me then?
I
I
can't bring myself to watch it. I literally cannot bring myself to watch it. I've seen that god-awful sequel they made, right? And because I've seen the clips of it so many times, and I know the film like back to front, I just can't ever find an urge to watch it.
No, I know. It's like you don't want to ruin it in your memory.
I'm sure we were in a charity shop. Didn't we pick up like an uncut version, director's cut or uncut version?
I'm not too sure.
We did. I don't know where it is. Somewhere in here. We picked up. It's still sealed. I've not opened it, but it's like a special edition of it. I think it had like some extra scenes or something on it. Yeah, I don't. I love it.
Oh no, I love it.
I love it. It's a good film. I'm not slagging it because when I was like when this came out, I was 16 when this came out. Right, when I was 16 years old, this film was like the funniest thing I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
Right? But
I think it was for everyone, wasn't it?
now, as a 41-year-old man who watched this so much in the first sort of 5-6 years it was around, I don't think I can watch it again.
It's because if you were to watch it again now, the really big moments in it that people remember, the really over-the-top comedy, like when they're in the car with the guy and doing all the sound effects and doing, all the really main parts of the film that people remember, that you won't laugh at as much. But when you think about the little bits, the subtle comedy would still be really funny. Like the bit where they're outside in the freezing and he's got them spare pair of gloves on. And he goes, oh, here, take these.
Budgie's head falls off. I like that bit as well.
Yeah, but I don't. Again, that whole bit, with the kid with the budgie. I don't think I'd find that funny anymore. But some of the subtler stuff would still probably be really funny. This is one of my all-time favourites. Yeah.
Eternal Sunshine
Of the Spotless Mind.
It's just a really, really nice film.
Proper wacky, proper weird. It's Michael Gondry, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it? What would you say about this? It's one of those mess with your head films. It's really beautiful. You can tell it's when anyone's been in a kind of relationship and things have felt a certain way. That film is just that vibe. It's everything, and you sit and you watch it. You can be really sad and watch it. You can be happy and watch it, and then feel sad. It's just one of those films. You understand why it did so well, and Kate Winslet's really good in it. It's one of my favourite things.
Elijah Wood in it as well.
Yeah, Elijah Wood's in it.
I will admit,
Ruffalo's in it.
Yeah,
Ruffalo's actually in it. I always forget Ruffalo's in it.
I love it, but I've only ever watched it like a handful of times when it came out.
Well, when he started doing that kind of thing, when he was being a bit more serious, but still being his goofy self, I liked that.
Is it Gondry?
It's Gondry, and it's Charlie Kaufman wrote it.
And Gondry
directed it.
Gondry do Kidding now.
And yeah, Michael Gondry. Obviously, we don't have
that.
Isn't
it Michelle Gondry? Michelle Gondry.
I don't know. I thought it was Michael, but Gondry anyway. And he's doing the new show Kidding, where him and Jim Carrey have teamed up again. If you've not seen that show, you must watch it. It's one of the best. And season 2 that's out at the moment is fantastic. It's excellent. It's one of the best Jim Carrey things I've seen in a long time.
I don't watch many TV shows, so I've only seen a bit of it.
Well, you thought it was wacky. It's got puppets in it and everything. It's crazy. It's so good.
The Grinch. awesome.
Speaks for itself, doesn't it?
Awesome.
Can't really.
Not quite as good as Cat in the Hat, but good.
A lot of people will argue with you over that.
Again, I mean, this was back when I worked at the pictures. I love this film. It's Ron Howard when it directed it. You know, he's a great director anyway. It's spot on. It's get better and better every year. I actually do prefer this to the animated Grinch. The new animated Grinch and the old.
Oh.
Like, I like the old. I like the style of it, and like obviously it's like very iconic, the imagery and stuff. Like you'd make a good tattoo if it was Christmas all year round. But
I feel like if you lived in America though, the original animated one would be more familiar to
because
you.
it was on TV all the time.
That was their thing. We didn't really.
My first ever
show it.
like sort of exposure to the Grinch was in Home Alone when like Macaulay Culkin was
He's watching
it
the
on
Grinch.
TV.
Yeah.
That was the first
I think
time-
that's the first time I
It
saw.
wasn't. I mean,
it.
I know the books were available over here, but
Again-
it wasn't as like into
No.
your face as it was in the States. So yeah, like that was like my first exposure to
I think it was mine.
the Grinch.
Yeah, in
Well, I
Home
would've
Alone
been
when he's watching it.
11 or 12 when Home Alone came out. So yeah, I love this, and I love the fact that a little girl from it went on to form an emo band.
She did, and what other fact? What did we learn about what he had to go through? Like he really struggled with the makeup. And what type of people was it that had to talk him through it?
It was like
People that
suicide.
got
prevention
suicide.
thing,
Yeah, that was really interesting. That's how bad the makeup like procedure is, and takes so long that he started to really feel really anxious and
Yeah.
really panicky, didn't he?
We learned that on the Minty Comedic Arts or something like that.
I think so. Yeah, he's amazing, isn't he? He just tells us everything.
Right. This film, we recently got a one sheet of it in our lounge. We've got
Just
our
love
lounge is
it.
basically like 4 Jim Carrey one sheets in our lounge. We've got I'll tell you which ones they are because we've not mentioned any of them yet apart from Sonic the Hedgehog because that's the new one.
The new one.
The new one. It's a masterpiece. You know, when it came out in the 90s and Jim Carrey mainly was there, I went and saw pictures and I loved it. But I think it took a few years for me really to appreciate just how funny this film is. Like, I do think it's one of the funniest films from the 90s, and I think it's one
so
of his best
quotable.
performances.
It's so quotable,
and
isn't it?
And like, it was kind of like supposed to be like the start of his non-elastic period, but he's still elastic as fuck in that film. And he's like crazy.
Yeah, when he's
like,
at the airport in the bag and all the bag straps are all over his face
and then
stuff, and he's like,
we've now later found out that clip's been going around YouTube, the internet last year, where you actually see him in the background.
Yeah, of his
in
own
that
scene.
Yeah.
He's a fireman, isn't he, on like the phone or something? And I'd never noticed that before. But yeah, this film's just everything, isn't it? Mega quotable. Major stuff happens. But again, this is the thing, like, we say all this stuff about Bruce Almighty and Yes Man and stuff, but this is where it all started, because the idea to this is so basic. His son makes a wish that he can't lie. It's so simple, but yet so effective. But this was when it was good, when they did stuff like
Eddie
that.
Murphy basically made a remake of it, didn't he?
What was it?
I can't remember, but yeah, about 15 years ago.
What more do you say?
You can't
Truman Burbank.
can't lie to his kids.
Oh no, Truman Burbank. That was the Truman Show. What was that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now it's
we've already
obviously,
we've already kind of spoken about this.
yeah, obviously, because you know it's the first
Ace.
one.
Yeah. What can I say?
Means a lot to a lot of people, doesn't it? This is where it all started.
Do you know
Did for me.
Do you know what happened the day I went to see that at the pictures? Ayrton Senna, the race car driver, died the day I saw that at the cinema. I remember I was.
Who?
Ayrton Senna was a Formula One racing driver, and he was driving a race. And basically, I was going to get a lift from my dad to go to the pictures to see this with my friend Graham. And my dad was watching the Formula One racing, and I came downstairs, and he's like, "Bloody hell, son! Bloody hell! He's dead!" And I was like, "What?" And he, Ayrton Senna's dead. And I was like, "Oh shit, that's not good. Can you give me a lift to see Ace Ventura?" But that was like,
You sound really concerned.
yeah,
about
but
it.
that's quite a historical day. So the day Ayrton Senna died, I saw Ace Ventura at the pictures.
I mean, with this is obviously, I mean, for me, I was a little kid in primary school, and I remember all the kids saying, "Oh, have you seen Ace Ventura? Have you seen Ace Ventura?" And I was like, "No, what is this? What is this mystery that everyone's talking about?" And I remember going and renting it. I remember someone in my class saying to me, "I think you'll really like it, Jade." At some point in primary school, so it was a long time ago, and I rented it, and the second I put it on, I just knew that this man was going to become a major part of my life. You know, everyone was all
thanks.
running around. Well, you know what I mean? I feel like I've been with him from the beginning of my life to the middle of my life. Like, I've followed his journey along with my own journey, and it's always felt really relevant and really weird how it's turned out like that. But I mean, everyone was always running around doing goofy impressions, like all kids were just trying to be him, weren't they? And this is where it all started. So I think it means a lot to a lot of people. Again, really quotable, really memorable.
Right, get into the top 4 now.
I don't know, I'd have probably swapped these two around though. That's my preference.
I
think I prefer Ace.
I was obsessed with Ace when it came out, but then a few months later, like I think Ace came out in the beginning of the year, early summer. This came out like midsummer, and then Dumb and Dumber came out in the October, I think. It was like every like sort of 2 months we got a new Jim Carrey film.
Yeah, that's what was good. That's how I remember it.
And like as much as I loved Ace Ventura, this blew my fucking mind. I mean, I was aware of the comic because I was 16 when this came out, so I was a bit older and I was into comics and stuff, and I knew of it. And
I didn't at the time. At that
when
point,
I was already in a stage of my life where I was reading a lot of film magazines, and on the early days, very early days of the internet, get online and see some like upcoming movies. So I knew a bit about this, and I was already going into a comic shop quite a bit when this came out, and I knew it was going to be different to the comic, but I love cartoons. Like, cartoons is my second favourite genre after horror. So the fact this was like a live action cartoon, it was excellent. You know?
I didn't start learning about the comic books until I was 16, and someone I knew had them. They got them. They hadn't had them the whole life. They got them later on. I think they picked them up somewhere quite cheap, like a charity shop or something. And I remember looking through them and thinking, "Oh my god, this is savage." The comics like are really scary, aren't they?
I mean, I saw this at the pictures like 6 times, and then when I worked at the video shop when it came out as well. So I got the standee. You know, I had a Jim Carrey standee in my room. Yeah, I mean the comics were a lot more violent. You know, obviously he killed people, but they still took the premise. Like they still took bits from the comic and stuck it in there. It wasn't like completely unfaithful. And I think The Mask works better as a family-friendly character than
that's what made it more successful. I'm glad they went the route that they did. I'd love to see a more vicious version of it, but I would never replace it for that. But also, even though the film might be slightly toned down, they did still get it really right with what he looked like. Because he does look exactly like what they look like, what he looked like in the comic. He just isn't as, crazy.
Right. Okay, so this one, if you've been following me for a while on YouTube, some of you will know my obsession with this film, and this being the best film to do with a certain franchise, a certain character, and
we should do a video, shouldn't we, soon on this franchise?
I think I've done quite a few videos over the years, but yeah, we could do one together because it'd be nice to get a more level-headed opinion on it. Because if you guys don't know, I fucking hate The Dark Knight, and that's all I'm going to say. Batman Forever. I love this film. I love this film. Probably one of the best comic book movies ever made. I don't care what people say. I don't care that it's cheesy.
It's a guilty
pleasure. That it's like it's got bat nipples and shit like that. Actually, no, wasn't it Batman and Robin that got the bat nipples? Anyway.
Yeah. No, I think he's got them in this.
It's brilliant. This is what a comic book movie should be about. This is what a blockbuster movie should be. It's like, the colours are amazing, right? The characters are amazing. Like Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones are like the two of the best like cartoon comic book villains ever. Val Kilmer is the best Batman, right? Yes, he's better than Michael Keaton. I think Michael Keaton was great, but I think Val Kilmer was the best. He should have done more, but he chose to do the Saint instead.
I don't know. It depends how you look at it. I've always looked at it from the perspective of, my honest opinion is, people argue all the time about who is the best Batman, who's the best Batman, but sometimes the better question is, who is the best Bruce Wayne? Now, my opinion is that Val Kilmer is 100% the best Bruce Wayne. I like the way he looks, I like the way he sounds, I like the way he walks, he moves. His whole presence in that film as Bruce Wayne is perfect for me. That's how I want Bruce Wayne to be. I didn't like George Clooney's, I didn't like Michael Keaton's. I don't like Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne. I think Val Kilmer's better.
The only thing I don't like about this film is I'm not very keen on Chris O'Donnell. Other than that, I just love it. I love this movie so much.
Oh, I don't mind him.
We've got the one sheet of this up in our lounge, but I think it's a bit sunfaded and I want to get a better quality one. I wouldn't mind getting the one where it's actually Jim Carrey, just like that with a Riddler stick. But yeah, his Riddler performance is just like so brilliant.
I mean, obviously him and Tommy Lee Jones hated each other, didn't they?
I saw this film so much at the cinema. I don't even want to know how many times I saw it at the cinema. I would go and see it daily. I had no money and was sad and no friends. Go to pictures on my own and watch Batman Forever. But it's great. It really is.
Yeah, they
great.
hated each other on set, didn't they?
Did they?
Apparently, yeah. Tommy Lee Jones and Jim
Yeah,
Carrey.
because Jim Carrey was a bit wild and at that point in his career was taking off. Yeah.
And isn't Val Kilmer just meant to be impossible to work with anyway?
I think by this point he calmed down. He used to be though, really bad. And now he's very poorly. Right.
What are we up to now?
So these are the two best Jim Carrey films in my opinion. I believe Jade shares the opinion with me.
Yeah. We're classing this at the same level as Batman Forever. This isn't it.
I think these two are
hard
in a league of their own. I think these two are by far his best films.
Yeah. Everyone will know this one. The Truman Show.
I mean, what an amazing film. It's just like one of those films you can watch over and over again. Like, honestly, you could leave The Truman Show on repeat all day long and I would never get bored of it.
Didn't that happen once? Didn't we have it on and it kept replaying, and every time we'd wake up like, oh, it's still on?
I remember he used to come home from work sometimes and I'd just be like, what are you doing? Oh, I was watching The Truman Show again. It's just so easy to watch.
Yeah.
But for such a dramatic film, it's
yeah,
so
I know. How is
easy
it
to
so
watch.
rewatchable when it's really hard?
It's
pulls at your heartstrings.
You know, it's funny and it's dramatic, but it's just so level. It never makes you feel like depressed. It never makes you feel like overexcited. It just like makes just very level
It's
film.
a nice feeling. Even the ending,
it's
right
just-
at the very end, when he walks through that door and the film ends, you're always left with a certain feeling, aren't you?
Mhm.
What is that thing called where I thought that I was in the Truman Show? Loads of other people did. There was an actual.
They've actually made an actual disease.
There's a term
it's
for
called,
it.
Like Truman copia or some.
Or maybe did that already exist anyway, and that's why
No.
they called this that? Or did
No.
they actually create
It
that?
got named after
From the film.
But yeah, there's an actual disease or condition named after that film.
Where people actually feel that same thing is happening in
Yeah.
their lives. I thought it at one point. I really did. Like, it's really funny. I think that's why you feel for him so much, because then you're like, oh my god, what if it's happening to me?
Right, now,
So we're finally at the end.
the best film of his entire career. I went and saw this at the cinema in '96 and I came out just saying this film was fucking amazing, and people were like, nah, his other film's better, you know, and it got overlooked for many years. Then in the sort of mid-2000s, when like Judd Apatow and all of that sort of style of comedy started getting more popular, people forgot that this film was way far ahead of its time.
Well, it did really well in the UK, but not in the US.
It
didn't
did well. I mean, yeah, it did
did better
well.
in the UK than it
I mean,
did
I remember
in
going and seeing
America.
it on a Friday night when it came out, and the cinema was like half full, and that was when it came out. So yeah, but it's just a masterpiece.
And yeah, I always forget Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller directed it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
wanna show it.
Ben
Oh.
Stiller film. Oh yeah, have you even said what it is? It's the Cable Guy.
We also have the Super Clam edition. I have got a laser disc of it somewhere as well.
Yeah.
We even got it on VHS as well. I might even have it on VHS.
I want to say yes, but
Yeah,
I'm
I
not 100%
can't
sure.
see it in here, but we probably have. We've got the one sheet as well in our lounge. Honestly, this is by far my favourite Jim Carrey film. It's everything I like in a movie.
I want to say it's my
it's
favourite
quirky.
because it's up there as being
Yeah,
one
I
of
mean
my
Chip
favourite.
Douglas, the character Chip Douglas is just like it's his best character. I mean, I'm a sucker. I mean, I don't know. I like things. Any films with lightning on the cover, I like.
The cover art is really good, isn't it?
I
It's
prefer
like
the
really.
actual poster, the black. I don't like the reddy, orangey, purpley stuff.
No, I like
too
it.
much, but it's just this film is just freaking brilliant.
I think it strikes a chord in most people's hearts who have been really, you know, obsessed with TV and film.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and
If I
that's
was
why
to
you
be a
relate
villain-
to him so
If I was
much.
to be a villain, I would be Chip Douglas. Like,
Yeah.
without a doubt, I probably am a bit Chip Douglas anyway. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. When we first got together, the whole reason we got together, I kept knocking on our door because I gave her free cable. I wish that was the case, but
No, really.
but yeah, no, honestly, it's a masterpiece.
And I really like Jim Carrey and Matthew Broderick's chemistry in it because they're just so polar. Matthew Broderick's so opposite, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And that is why it works. But I don't know if that's maybe why it didn't do so well because maybe people watched it and thought, I can't get with this. But I felt it.
Yeah, it came out.
It was meant to feel that way, and I liked it.
It came out in a time when like silly comedies were in, and this was a bit more dark and a bit more
darker.
Twisted, and
Definitely
a bit more quite wordy in places with the humour. And you know, that sort of came into trend about 10 years later. About sort of mid 2000s, like when like sort of Judd Apatow and they started getting bigger. Didn't Judd Apatow? Judd Apatow wrote this, didn't he? Or produced it?
No, Ben Stiller produced it.
Ben Stiller directed it, but I'm sure Judd Apatow wrote it. Yeah, or produced it. It was one of Judd Apatow's first.
Yeah, it was directed by Ben Stiller.
Yeah, but so it was like, you know, when that sort of humour got bigger. If this came out in sort of early, sort of mid 2000s, I think it would have been a lot bigger than what it was when it came out in '96, because it was kind of deemed like Carrey's like first flop.
Yeah, I know, and it's so not a flop.
It's not. It's just.
It's amazing.
It's excellent.
And I feel that Ben Stiller. Like, how many other films did Ben Stiller direct?
Did a few. He did like Reality Bites and.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
He did a few.
But this was amazing.
I think that was his first like
didn't...
sort of big one after his first few sort of like indie-ish ones. It was the first time he got let loose with a big character. But there you go. That was a really long video talking about Jim Carrey films in our collection, and Jade's
like
first video on YouTube. But she's going to be doing more videos. Once we've got a bit of order set up in the room, we're still putting the finishing touches to this movie shack we got here, which was basically our old garage that we converted into a movie room. Some of you have seen some of my update videos where I'm down that end of the room. We're in this end here where there is going to be like a cinema screen there. We've got a projector and stuff for it. We just need to get the screen sorted out. We've got movies all the way down this wall here and all the way over there. We're going to do a lot more videos. Hopefully once something's a bit more set up, I can come and start doing more updates. Jade can come and do some videos on her own if she likes. Get a bit more variety on the channel. There is another video that you've probably seen now where I've announced that I've just got involved in making a documentary about the YouTube movie community, so that's going to be quite exciting. So we'll check out that. Anyway guys, we're going to go and check on our baby because he's having a nap in the other room, and I'll see you all soon guys. See you later.
Bye.